everybody. Happy Monday. Welcome to this week's Monday Sales Motivation. As you can tell, I'm really excited because this week I'm doing something a little bit different. I have a guest, my good friend, Khurshid Anis. And Khurshid, there she is. Hey, Khurshid, wave hi. I'm going to introduce you to everybody. Khurshid is a global leader in HR strategy, organizational transformation, human capital space, and she focuses on creating high-performing cultures and powerful employment brands. Currently, she's working as VP of HR with KeyBank. And what I love about Khurshid is she not only pays attention to business growth, but she also keeps a really tight eye on sales performance. And I've been around in sales for a really long time, and it's rare to find someone in HR who is so connected to sales as much as Khurshid is. She gets it, if you know what I mean. So I wanted to ask her some questions on how organizations are thinking about sales and sales capabilities during these changing times, because there is a lot happening. So welcome, Khurshid. Hello, how are you?
Hey, Christine. Hello, how are you doing?
I'm doing great. So if it's okay with you, I got a lot of questions. I want to jump right into some of the things that people have been asking me, and so I wanted to go to an expert.
Thank you. Thank you for having me on your show. You're doing some really incredible work. I learned a lot from your videos and your coaching, and I really miss our partnership that we used to have back then in person, but this is good. Let's do it virtually.
Yeah, let's do it virtually. It's the name of the game, right? And we can talk to people all over the world. I mean, that's the
there you go
part. Okay, so talking about doing things virtually, in the last few months, companies and teams that maybe were a little technology adverse are now finding themselves working from home remotely. They were forced to. And some people have, got on the bus and really embraced all that change in technology, while others are still kind of, waiting for things to get back to normal. What are your thoughts about those that say, I'm just no good with technology?
Yeah, that's a great question, and you make some good important points. A lot has changed. For a little bit we stopped everything, but now everything is starting to pick up and has been continuing. Work has been going on, but we're not sitting in the office and doing it anymore. We're doing it virtually using all these technologies. I have experienced, myself. Well, I used to go meet people and like to touch, feel before buying. I'm doing it more online now, and I'm getting used to it. So, while I'm hopeful that we'll go back to, a lot of in-person selling and buying, but organizations really cannot keep waiting for that to happen. Not anymore. We've waited a long time. And, in all likelihood, much of buying and selling that had to move online might just remain there. It may not go back to in-person selling.
Right.
So, I'm highly encouraging all my network, my employees, my peers, partners to just be, curious and be self-motivated to learn new technologies. That is the way work is gonna be done in the future. It's being done now, but it'll be done in the future too. Thinking it from the HR aspect or recruiting aspect, when I'm looking for, hiring talent, I want to look at people who are tech savvy, who have digital IQ, and who are not afraid of learning new technologies. We're investing a lot of resources, time, effort in educating our current workforce in adapting these new ways of working. But when I go out and hire from outside, I want people to be ready to hit the ground running.
Oh,
so
yeah, tech savvy, digital IQ.
Yep.
Continued learning.
Ability to learn new technologies. As time progresses, there will be new versions, new technologies. WebExes, Zooms, there might be something else tomorrow. We got to get comfortable with it, right?
And so it's a trend. So it's not like I did it, yay, I learned it all. It's continual.
It's continual, and it has to be self-motivated. employers cannot keep forcing it on their employees. It's just a bad experience.
Yeah.
So I should want to learn, and my employer should give me the resources to learn. That's how it works, right? There are people who are resistant to change, not willing to learn and adapt. We're trying very hard to get them to, accept and move on and learn these new ways of working. People who are still not doing it, I'll be very candid over here. They are coming in their own way of success. Mm-hmm. They are not only making themselves obsolete, they're also slowing down their organization's progress.
Right.
And, in all transparency, they are jeopardizing their jobs.
Right.
There's that's critical.
Yeah, there's a lot going on with AI and studies being done, and an article I wrote that you contributed to this past fall that predicted, unfortunately, a lot of people would be out of sales if they could not keep up with the way the industry was changing. And, that change came through really fast in the last 3 months.
Yeah.
So, really important. So keep learning, and digital intelligence, I love that. And don't think you've crossed the finish line. Things keep changing and evolving. So be prepared to keep learning, and hopefully you work for an organization that will provide you with the resources to continue to keep learning, and you need to bring the motivation.
Absolutely.
So I want to move on to metrics and activity numbers. So these are pretty standard tools that a lot of sales organizations use to measure success. Now, with businesses being shuttered or only partially open, and salespeople working remotely, and in some parts of the country being able to see and sell, and other parts maybe not so much, depending on where they are. So is metrics and productivity measurement still the best way to go to determine success of a salesperson or sales team? What other ways would you suggest as measures of, sales work? Like, how's it going?
Yeah, that's a great question. If you think of sales as a career, or what sales is held accountable for, the ultimate goal and the absolute measure of sales success is results, right? It's business growth. So ultimately, when we look at business growth, when we look at the financials, we're looking at the new business development numbers. We're looking at how many existing relationships you have deepened, cross-sell, and then how many, how have you prevented any client loss, right? Those are the numbers prima facie we look at when we are assessing performance. So during year-end reviews, we absolutely look at those numbers, but during regular check-ins and quarterly business reviews and mid-year performance reviews, we look at what is the activity, what are the attitudes and behaviors of an account executive or a relationship manager. Are they on track to meet or exceed those goals, or will they not be able to do so? And then we take a step back and provide resources and coaching to people to help them get there. But in a year like 2020, where everything is out of whack, we are sensitive to the fact that selling and buying has changed, and people are impacted in so many different ways, personally, professionally, socially.
Right.
So as organizations, we are very cognizant of that, and we are already, in the process of reducing our goals and making sure that our goals really make sense and not something that is outrageous. But whether we look at hard numbers or not at the year end, what is more important is the right attitudes and behaviors. Are you just sitting there doing nothing, or are you putting some effort towards learning, towards prospecting, towards understanding the attitudes and behaviors of your customers, or prospecting on social networking sites? All those activities are so important. They are they're just the ways to the end, right? Means to the end.
Yeah, I'm so glad you said that. And I do know that a lot of organizations are changing their sales goals and their budgets and trying to make them more aligned with what's going on.
Yeah.
And I do like that you brought up the point again about, so you can't do everything the way we used to be able to do it, but it doesn't mean you have to do nothing. There are things you can do, and you can try to retain customers, you can try to cross-sell, you still can try business development. In some industries, it's not as bad as in others. And that good leaders will take that into account. So along those lines, I spoke to someone the other day, and she was still employed, but she's worried about what's going to happen in the future, what's going to happen in a few months down the road. The company is still a little bit on shaky ground. And she was kind of concerned with sales slow. What could she do in the job that would continue to show value? So her sales numbers certainly weren't going to be the same as they used to be. And that's how value was measured so much in the past. So, what specifically now do you think, and you started to touch on that, so I wanted to get a little bit deeper, that people could do to show value to their employers if their sales numbers are off, given what, everything that's going on?
Yeah. There's I'm glad that people in sales are asking that question. So important. And honestly, there's a lot that they can do. While they're not out selling or closing sales. Sales is a long cycle. It doesn't happen. It doesn't start today and end tomorrow, right? You know it better than I do. So just learning new ways of working, sharing information to inform your sales strategy. Salespeople can really help improve operations. I've seen so many times these account executives or relationship, managers are, very candid in telling us what's not working. Now is their opportunity to come and help us correct those or help us improve our operations so that when, everything opens up, you're ahead of the game, your organization is ahead of what, from where they were, and you can really hit the ground running, and it brings beautiful experience, not only for your clients, but for you as an employee and for operations that you work with so closely, right? So that's definitely one important thing. Another extremely important thing, is learn to read dashboards. Learn to utilize, business intelligence data, and learn to derive insights out of the data that is available inside and outside your organization. So you can be more targeted in your prospecting. You can understand your customer behaviors, how the customers are buying. All that will become so much more precise and more targeted when you learn to use data. I think sales is very good with numbers and presenting the data to their clients. Now is their opportunity to utilize these, wonderful technologies and investment that organizations are making to, utilize those as resources to fine tune their selling strategy.
I love that. Yeah. Data. What a great way to sell, and to use it internally as well as externally, which I think often it's used a little bit more externally than internally. I want to go back to you mentioned people coming forward with their suggestions and ideas of improvement. With what's going on in the economy and layoffs scaring people, I think the attitude of a lot of people is keep your head down. And I'm a big believer of anyone that's talked to me. I hate that phrase. I'm a chin up person. I'm not a head down, because visually this is head down. I get it. You think you're not going to be seen, and so you won't be the one that gets chosen to exit the company. So for someone who's nervous, who does have some great insight and ideas, how would you make them feel comfortable coming forward when maybe they're scared and kind of have that keep your head down mindset?
Yeah, that's a real challenge. And I'm happy to share my 2 cents on that. First of all, head down, hide away. That does not work, because most of our decisions are made based on data. And whether I see you or not, I have the data and I'm looking at the data. So there's no hiding anymore. Data, dashboards, business intelligence is just taken away the ability to hide anywhere. We just, the sales have been very confident in presenting to the client. We just want them to use that same confidence, the same constructive way of advising someone and bring it internally. You guys will be very successful doing that. Mm-hmm. I think the industry industries across corporate America has not taken advantage of so many of our salespeople who could really help us improve our operations. I'm a big fan of it. If there is someone who does not want to do sales anymore or just don't want to live that lifestyle, I would hire them for our operations. There's so much good. There's such good outside-in lens that you guys can bring and inform our operations, inform our, so many various different strategies. There's so much good we can derive out of, you guys. I would just encourage people to, offer themselves.
I love that.
Instead of keeping your head down, just go offer, talk to your partners, talk to human resource, talk to some people in operations, talk to your leaders, and just offer yourself.
Yeah, I love that.
No, but if it were me, I would take all that kind of help and channelize.
Yes. So everyone, heads up, chin up, and build up your confidence. This is why I love Khurshid, because she said the value of the outside in lens that all of us in sales have for an organization is extremely valuable. So have the confidence, you know your stuff. And I did a video on confidence, and it's not just about pumping yourself up. It's saying, I know I can do this because, and just think that through to yourself, because I've been doing this for 15 years, because I have so many clients, because I've heard this so many times, or I've experimented and whatever that language is, bring that forward, and you'll be valued and appreciated even more. And Khurshid started to lead into other employment opportunities for people in sales that maybe are thinking of getting out of the sales role, but obviously still want to be employed, into operations. And that leads me to my next question, which is obviously there's been a lot of layoffs and furloughs, even sales roles, jobs that often pay for themselves, which is surprising to me because sales are often the last to go because so much is commission based. So there's less risk for the organization as far as a set salary. But unfortunately, there's been a lot of layoffs and furloughs even in those roles. So what advice would you give someone that's been recently laid off, they're in the job market, they want to continue in sales? What's going to help them stand out in the pack to get noticed?
Yeah, tough times for sure for everyone, personally, professionally, socially. So I really appreciate there are people who have been laid off and, furloughed. I really feel for them. So, my 2 cents, my advice over here, and the way I think is sales is still a very lucrative field, right? There is still some hiring going on. Some organizations are still hiring. The organizations that have taken a brief pause, I know they will begin hiring as soon as the, economy opens up. So sales is not going away anywhere. However, your question about how to stand out in the pack, that's really important. And, I would say that take this time to make yourself relevant in the marketplace, right? Before you go and apply for a job or before you go for an interview, just prepare yourself. You may have been a very successful sales executive in the past. You know the art of selling, you know the science of selling. The platform on which the sale is happening has changed. And here's your opportunity to learn all of that, while we are as an organization spending so much time, effort, resources in educating our workforce and helping them become relevant. When I'm out hiring from outside, trying to bring people from outside, I'm looking at people who are ready to go. Right? So the people who are relevant, they know how to use technology, they know how to use digital platforms, they know how to utilize data to be better at prospecting or selling. People who, have learned the art of building relationships and building credibility on screen is critical. Many of you have done it so well face to face. Can you do it online? Can you open up a relationship on social networking side? Can you demonstrate data to your clients using WebEx or Zoom? Can you make sales so much fun online, not just in person? We need workflows that can work on both platforms, in person, virtually as well.
Right. So get
this
prepared.
Is an opportunity, learn how your customer behaviors are changing, how their needs are changing, how their buying habits have changed, and will keep changing. So if I find someone who has done this, has invested time in, becoming relevant, it's a no-brainer.
Yeah.
I'm going to hire that person. I'm looking for those people.
Mm-hmm. So become relevant, and maybe if you have some extra time on your hands, now is the time to learn some of these new skills, get some of these certifications. There's a lot of free resources and training right now. People are being very generous with their teachings and trainings and webinars to get caught up. I love it. And I love Khurshid, which is why I had her on today. I'm so grateful that you answered some questions that I've heard a lot. I know these are topics people have been talking about. Some have been asked to me directly. And so any other last thoughts from you, Khurshid, from an HR perspective on sales, the sales organization, what we're dealing with now and how we're going to be moving forward in the future?
Well, I've shared a lot. I've shared a lot of, personal insights, organizational insights, HR insights that, some salespeople keep on asking, what does HR do? How do you assess us? How do you, review our performance? I've shared a lot of that detail. I hope it is helpful. My hope is that I'm a big fan of learning, big fan of, experiencing diversity, diverse experiences. They help you learn a lot. Your customers, your clients are not all the same. They are diverse. So, those, keep learning. Try to get diverse experiences. Even when you're out there selling, try to sell it in different ways. Experiment. Don't be afraid of failing. Failing is the best way to learn. So, there's a lot we all can do, and most important that I love to do is share information.
Yeah.
I learned from you, Christine. I learned from people on LinkedIn that I follow. I learned from so many of my peers that I work with. I learned from the teams around me, operations, finance. There's so many people in human resource. All I do is just learn through their experiences.
Right.
I would encourage people to keep doing that. It's very important everywhere in every function, but most important in sales.
Yes, I agree. And everybody, Khurshid is on LinkedIn. She's very active on LinkedIn. I'm sure she'd love to connect with you if you wanted to reach out to her. You can find her. If you can't find her easily, just come find me and I'll help connect the two of you. So Khurshid, thank you so much for your time today. And as I almost always leave my videos, from me and Khurshid, have a great week. I hope this has helped you and motivated you and answered some of your questions. And go out and crush it. Bye, everybody.
Thank you.